My name is Rafael Dueñas. I'm working at CTA, that is one of the responsible of the work package 4 from BIObec project. This package is related with the replication and the implementation and replication of the experience of BIObec. CTA is going to be responsible or lead this capacity building workshop, but of course other partners are going to contribute, like Daniel from CS, that he is going to show later the e-learning material that were created to transfer this knowledge. After this part, Selenia from FPA is going to lead the second international workshop of the implementation and replication working group, and she's going to update in the exploitable aspect of the project. So just to start a little bit to make you a context that everyone can start from the same point, just in case you were not involved during the BIObec project. Just let you know that bioeconomy is a central strategy in the European Union. It has their own strategy that is based on 5 goals. That are the ensure food and nutrition security, manage natural resources sustainably, reduce dependence on non-renewable resources, mitigate and adapt to climate change, and strengthen European competitiveness. These 5 goals are going to be implemented by 14 concrete actions, and one of them is to promote education, training, and skills across bioeconomy. And of course, this is aligned with the BIObec project. As Davide said, BIObec project is entitled as Preparing the Creation of Bio-Based Education Centers to Meet Industry Needs and Boost the Contribution of the Bioeconomy to Societal Challenge. The project started in September 2021 and is going to end in the next month. And it's a Horizon 2020 project, and the contribution was, so the budget was 1.5 million euros, and it's formed by 19 partners. Of course, these 19 partners has different backgrounds, but I would like to show you how all these partners represent different countries of the majority of the countries represented in the European Union. In the dark green, you can find those partners that were involved in the development of the BIObecs, and in the light one is those partners that collaborate in the design and of those ones. The main objective of the BIObec project is to create a holistic framework for the developing and establishing multi-level bio-based education centers that are flexible enough to answer the present and future needs of the industry and the surrounding ecosystem at local, regional, and national levels. Of course, this aim has several specific objectives, like to provide a comprehensive understanding of needs and different criteria and conditions for the bio-based education centers, to create dynamic ecosystems, to define the most effective design and business model for the developing and establishing a BIObec and its educational activities, to provide governance plans, learning programs, and feasibility assessment of proposed BIObecs. The fourth one is to provide a rollout strategy and a roadmap for coordinating the replication of BIObec at European and international level, fostering the outcomes exploitation and collaborations. And this is the main reason for this capacity building. and to ensure motivated co-creation, stakeholder involvement, and dissemination and communication. But these are the specific objectives that the BIObec project has. But we should tell you what is a BIObec. And a BIObec is a regional delimit construct designed to build and coordinate a community of actors who offer education and training in bioeconomy, promoting knowledge and innovation in the field. The idea is to create or to develop hypothetically technological hubs that will aim the following. So first is the integration of different stakeholders, the promotion of cooperation between those stakeholders in a same structure, inclusion of bioeconomy as an essential part of their mission, and having in mind that bioeconomy is the economic system involving sectors that depend on biological resource for the production of goods, services, or energy, for example. They will be the leader, so they will take a leadership role in this topic, especially at regional, national, and international level. The development of education, training, research, and innovation strategy actions and activities for any educational level. So we are talking about from vocational education to high degrees like PhD or master. And also, it's we think that these centers should have a loss-lasting vision in the strategy, and for that reason, we have provide them with several plans that we are going to take more in the following slides. So, in general, the strategy that BIObec project has taken was based on a linear 4-stage strategy, in which the initial stage is the analysis of needs and expectations. So the project assessed the ecosystem needs, also the criteria and conditions for the BIObec setting up. In a second stage that it was titled as BIObec Educational Center Designs, we provide or we develop governance plans, budget and financial plan, and also maintenance plans. The third stage that was involved with feasibility and assessment was to create a feasibility and sustainability assessment of the BIObec. And in the last stage, that is the rollout and replication, the main activities are to train the trainers, to show or to share the best practices with story maps and workshops. We are trying also to get international positioning, and we are working in our network, especially for the replication. As I said, the BIObec has ranked with the idea to create in a hypothetical way 6 pilots. Just a short summary of them. They were designed in 2 types of geographical structures. So the first one was considered regional and national BIObecs, that in which we can see here, for example, the Finnish BIObec was the regional one, while the German, Denmark, and Ireland one was nationals. Of course, this has some kind of advantages. The first is that simplifies the process because they share so in each nation they have their own language with their own social and culture. and also their own regulations. So keeping this homogeneity in the process simplifies a lot. The other thing is that as an advantage is the closer collaboration with the regional and local stakeholders, and the alignment with the regional needs. Of course, if you have advantage, you have also drawbacks. And in those BIObecs, we can understand that they depend exclusively on regional or national funding. On the other hand, the BIObecs that were structured as an international BIObec, it was the Central Eastern BIObec that were formed by 3 countries, Poland, Czech Republic, and Bulgaria, and the Mediterranean BIObec formed by Italy and Spain. As main advantage, we can say that access to international, national, and local funds, so it opens the possibility of funding. Also allows or promotes the international cooperation that is a big issue or big concern in the European Union policy, and also allows a greater plurality of stakeholders and value addition because of this internationality. As a drawback is mainly the complex organization. We need to think about regulation, for example, or even the language between the different countries. That also makes difficult the certification or the find of certifications, and the heterogeneity. Basically, in interest and needs, each country has their own interests and needs, of course. As a summary, here we can see a table in which you can find more or less interesting information, like which kind of geographic distribution they have, the governance that they designed, basically private-public partnership or foundation or even university involved. Also the different educational levels that they will take care, and the main sectors. So this work was done during the development of the BIObec project, and now it comes the how to replicate our experience for the generation of new bio-based education centers in regions that were not involved in the project, basically. As I showed you before, the planning or the methodology we use, we improve it with the lesson learned during the execution of the project. In that case, we have generated a roadmap for BIObec replication. It includes a new step, so it's so we recommend now the application of 5 iterative and superposing stages, going from a preparatory stage and ending in the stage 4. And following these steps will lie a strong foundation for a bioeconomy education and training center with governance, financial, and sustainability plans that will allow them to develop their activities with a better chance of success. So let's try to show you the main task and the main concepts for the replication of this methodology. And let's start with the preparatory stage. In the preparatory stage, it's important to keep in mind that you need to form 2 different groups of people. The one that is involved in the working part and also in the advisory committee. Of course, as we said, some steps can be superposed, like the identification and mapping of stakeholders. But in order to be more clear during the presentation, I will show these parts in the stage in which most of the activity will happen. Sorry. So then the preparatory stage, I will show you the creation of the working group and the establishment of an advisory committee. So for the creation of a working group, we need to take into account that this group of people will have a really an intense activity, and they must be really collaborative. Also, the team should be formed by experts in the tasks that they need to lead. And as soon as the different tasks designed for this working group are ended, they should change they should transition to a different to a different tasks. So the creation of this working group will involve 9 steps that you can go deeper in the deliverable that it was already submitted to the Commission. And here is just to have an idea of the tasks that should involve for the creation of this working group. So first to all is define the purpose and objective of this of this group, the identification of the key members, also the formulation of a charter or the appointment of members, and of course, this group will deal with provision of resources, to have clear roles and responsibility, and to have an understanding on the working plan that they must implement and the timeline. The other group that is important and is the establishment of an advisory committee. In this advisory committee, representatives of relevant stakeholders groups will assist in making informed decisions on specific topics through the provision of guidance, advice, and recommendations based on their collaborative knowledge and experience. Of course, the establishment of this committee needs 5 different steps, but just to try to avoid to read the presentation, here you have the main 5 points. Of course, as I said before, more detailed information is in the deliverable, so if you have any doubts, you can consult them at that point. So after this preparatory stage, we considered that if these 2 groups are formed, you can continue with the stage 1, that basically is the analysis and identification of needs, opportunities, and expectations. We consider that there are 3 main tasks that has been or should be done during this stage. That is the proper analysis of needs, the scoping of best practices and success cases in bioeconomy education, and of course, something that can start already in the preparatory stage is the identification and mapping of stakeholders. When we talk about identification of stakeholders, we are talking about basically the identification of the quadruple helixes of innovation. It's important to have a representative of the 4 groups that I show you in the presentation. First, academia. That means to have representative of university and also research and technological organization. Industry in a really broad range concept like You need to involve farmers and producers, basically, also foresters. And also you should take into account the possibility to start the contact with financial institutions and investors. So these different persons are interesting to be identified. Also, it's important to identify the government agencies that are interested in bioeconomy education, as well as policymakers and authority, although this is sometimes more harder. And of course, the identification of civil society, like non-governmental organizations, and also consumers or consumer groups, basically. So with this identification, we always recommend after that the mapping of the stakeholders, because this is a really important tool to understand the relationship between them. This allows also to identify the strengths and weakness of the existing system you have in your region, also to identify the gaps that you should address, and allows you to use the networks that these stakeholders has for the design of your BIObec. So these are the main tasks that should be done during this identification and mapping of the stakeholders. And just as an example, I will share with you the map of the Mediterranean BIObec, in which we can see the complexity that we were talking about in previous slides. The first, this is an international BIObec formed by mainly Italy and also contributed by Spain. And here we can see clearly several things. For example, a gap in the governmental organization, for example, in the Italian cases, although in the Spanish one, we only got one stakeholder involved. Also, the difficult to have a strong relation between both countries. So as we can see with these lines that are not solid. And also that, for example, the network is more strong between the country inside of the country that in an international way. Having these kind of things, later you can address those problems and try to solve it for the developing of your BIObec or BIObec. So another thing is that during the analysis of needs, expectation, and opportunity, BIObec project has developed several tools, and we have shared them. So you can have examples of interviews, surveys, and workshops that allow us to understand the regional needs that the stakeholders has, and were used in our cases in order to clarify the question that you see here. So they should tell you if you need to create a BIObec, if you need it really, or if you can just readapt what you have already. So questions that you can find in the surveys for the need of a BIObec are the kind of skills and competence that the industry in your region needs, what level of specialization is required. If you can or if you have educational and training centers that are flexible enough for bioeconomy teaching, which is what is the current status of educational training centers, and if the citizens of that region are aware about the importance of the bioeconomy. And also, as I said, if you can't reuse whatever what you have on your region. In this sense, you need to take into account that starting something new is more expensive than readapt whatever the center you have already, and maybe this adjust takes less risks for the future, for example. Regarding the scoping of best practices and success case on bioeconomy education, this is important to have because you can detect methodologies, strategies, and approaches that already work at your region and gives you a clear idea of what is possible or not. This analysis should be specific of your region, but as the BIObec project was involving several countries, we could define guidelines, basically. So in the success cases, in most of the cases, they apply a long-term perspective. They used to involve a university. The stakeholders were involved in early stages. They develop effective cooperation models and governance structures. They create models and facilities for cooperative research. They co-create a co-creation of suitable education programs and formats. They used to seek for political support, and they support the networks with dedication and try to keep stakeholders interested. And of course, as bioeconomy is a multidisciplinary field, the diversity is welcome. So after the end of, so after until the end of this task, start the stage 2 that try to give operational models to the BIObecs. So we think that there are two main tasks that should be complete during this stage 2. The first one is the co-creation and conceptual design of a BIObec, and the other one is the design of a draft business model. As the business model has the definition of the key activities and also the identification of customers and so on, you can also start the definition of those activities and also the competitive analysis. But as I said before, these two tasks will be explaining during the stage 3. So regarding to these two tasks, so the co-creation and the conceptual design of the BIObec and the business model, we have developed a single workshop in which we realized the co-creation and the conceptual design of the BIObec. Basically, what is expected is to have a scope for that BIObec to target the target sectors, the areas of activities, the actors involved, the potential governance, the funding model, the opportunities for collaborations, and the timelines. And this is the starting of the build of these BIObecs. In terms of business models, we have used the business model canvas as a tool that provides a visual representation of how a business creates, delivers, and captures value in its chosen market or industry, helping managers and organizations analyze, develop, and communicate their business model effectively. The business model used to have 9 segments that should be filled. Basically, it takes into account your key partners, so university or people involved in the creation of the BIObec, which activities are key, the resources, which is your value proposition, your customer relationship and who are your customer segments, the channels of communication between the structure and the customers, the cost structure, and the revenue streams. As soon as you have this draft on the topic, so the co-creation and the design of your BIObec, and you have supported with a business model, we recommend to start the stage 3. That is going to be about feasibility and sustainability planning. Basically, we are talking about the design of 3 important plans, like governance, financial, and sustainability. And of course, with a competitive analysis and definition of the key activities, that is quite important at this moment to have it completely clear. So for competitive analysis, we recommend those tools that are available. You can use more than one, because this will give an holistic understanding of the competitive environment in which the future BIObec will operate. And of course, know your competitors is something important if you want to go to the business in this particular case. So another important aspect is the definition of the key activities. And here we have 2 groups. The ones that is for the characterization of education and training programs to be offered. And the second important activity is the definition of standards and certification schemes. In the first group, we need to offer skills that the bioeconomy needs at your region, to have the learning objectives. The contents should be addressed, and mission requires, and also it's important to have the teaching methods and the learning instruments completely well defined. In terms of a standard and certification, this is quite important in education centers, because we'll ensure the quality, the relevance, also the recognition of that specific topic you are teaching, and also the integrity. The design of a governance plans, it will base on the business model that you have. The important point is here to develop an organizational structure that can have or make decisions in an informed way, having clear the policies and the legal forms that at your specific regions you should operate. The development of a financial plan ensures financial stability, so it's quite important. It's also quite important the effective budgeting and resource allocation, the sustainability and growth contingent planning, compliance and accountability, strategic decision making, and stakeholder confidence. In our in our final document regarding to replication, we have indicated general guidelines, as you can see here, that allows you to develop a proper financial plan that will be essential for your activity in the future if you plan to do a BIObec. Regarding to the sustainability plan, Also, it's essential to anticipate and adapt to changing market dynamics, emerging industry and technology trends, and evolving regulation frameworks. That's why the design of this sustainability plan is quite important and will help future-proof the center, enabling it to mitigate risks, identify opportunities for innovation and growth, and achieve long-term success. So also we have developed a guideline that could be found in the report. But basically, it's based on the setting of clear objectives, a gap analysis, the development of action plans, the stakeholder engagement planning, engagement, communication, and promoting planning, and risk assessment and mitigation, and the progress measurement and tracking. So as soon as you have finished this stage 3, you can try to go to the next stage that will involve communication, risk management, and evaluation planning. The fourth task that you should do during this stage are indicated here in this slide. The first is the design of a proper communication plan, the development of a stakeholder engagement and mobilization plan, the design of a risk management plan, and the design of monitoring and evaluation plan. This is the last stage of your BIObec and will ensure the future to keep you in business, basically. So the design of a communication plan should answer the 5 W's of communication, or in other words, who says what, in which channel, to whom, and with what effect. This will involve several key steps in which the setting of real communication objectives, it's essential. Also, the identification of your target audiences that should be based on your business model that you designed during the stage 3. Also, the key message that you want to share with your audience, the selection of communication channels that should take into account the use of your users, the creation of a communication timeline, the allocation of resources, because it's quite important to have enough budget to develop all these activities. Develop of communication tactics plans, and the implementation and monitoring in order to know if your channels or your ideas are properly shared with your customers or not. After that, it's also important the development of a stakeholder engagement and mobilization plan, because it's a key element of raise awareness, enable to the timely identification of requirements, bottlenecks, and challenge, and to enhance the sense of ownership and acceptance of the solution proposed by the creation of the BIObec. Maybe this is one of the most difficult parts in which keep the engagement of the stakeholders. It's crucial because they need to feel that your education center is useful for their own business or purpose. Another important plan that should take into this stage is the risk management plans. You need to have a structured approach to anticipate, assess, and manage risks, and ensuring that the institution is well prepared to handle unforeseen circumstances and protect its stakeholders' interest. For that, it's important the identification of the risk, so the identification, assessment, and prioritization of risks, to have a clear mitigation strategy in case this risk happens. The implementation of risk controls, and always it's important to monitorize and review those risks in a regular or in a frequent way. Finally, the other plan that is important to take care is the monitoring and evaluation. And this plan should not only be done during the stage 4, is something that it's going to give certain grade of circularity to this methodology. So it's important. So it makes the connection between the stage 0 to 4 and allows you the improvement of your BIObec at the end. So, and of course, here are the different key steps that, as I said you before, they are more they go more deep in the report that we have already prepared and published in our website. So, as you can see, here we have present the BIObec replication methodology that we think that recollect the lesson learned during the develop of the BIObec project. But as you can imagine, the amount of information and especially the content is quite intense. So in order to try to give an opportunity to a more digested information, we have created a tool that will allow you to identify in which stage you are, basically. Will provide enough information about where the information is, so and in which documents and reports, or even in our website, you can find that information that allows you to have a initial understanding, and also to the initial to share with us the initial steps in the creation of these educational centers. So the tool is named self-assessment test, and is based on the nature of this roadmap. Basically, we have initial steps that are basically analytic one, or produce drafts. And we consider that if you have performed those tasks, but not all of them, you are in a low BIObec maturity level. In the other hand, if you have complete all these tasks and you are now dealing with the operational model, we consider high BIObec maturity level, and also we support with all these different tasks, and allows you to find the information that at the end is the most important thing, how to find the information in the better way possible. And this is from my side, and just thank you for your attention, and that's from my side.